Hey everyone, it's Nicole again, and I'm here to do my March favorites video. So, I didn't have too many new favorites, I guess. I think I'm going to do it in like the sections and then just talk about the things that I consume. Because maybe it should be called like a media roundup, I don't know. But that's kind of how I want to do it. Let's talk about TV shows first, because I feel like I watch a lot of TV. So the main thing is that I started watching The Magicians, and I was not really into it in the first couple of episodes, but then I think episode 6 really started to get interesting, and now I'm almost done with the first season. So that's been kind of my main show to watch, like when I'm cooking dinner or like washing the dishes. So I've been enjoying that. And what else have I been watching? Oh, we watched the 3rd season of Love on Netflix, which is by Paul Rust, and I think Jada Patel produces it, and his daughter's in it. And I like Love a lot. I don't like Paul Rust's character at all. I think you're not really supposed to like either of their characters, but I really like Gillian Jacobs' character, Mickey. Like, I genuinely like her. But I also, like, they are kind of me in Rustine, but a much more dramatic version. So, yeah, I think I just kind of very much relate to her on a lot of levels, but she's obviously much more dramatic and outgoing because it's a TV show. But I really liked the 3rd season. Like, the 2nd season had a lot of annoying things that happened. The 1st season I really liked. And then the 3rd season had, like, some of the funniest episodes. And then I hated the last episode. I feel like the episode right before the last one was a perfect ending. And then they had a whole other episode and basically just undid all of the stuff they did in the episode before. And it made me really mad. And I'm just going to pretend that the last episode doesn't exist. And then it just ended on the one before because, in my opinion, it was a much better ending. I can't really talk about what happened in the last episode. I don't know if you've seen it. And it's on Netflix, so who knows if people have watched all of it. So the other show that we watched, because a lot of shows started up at the end of March, but I can't really talk about those yet because I only watched like one episode. But we watched a bunch of High Maintenance, and I think we finished it, but there might be a couple more that came out at the end of March. But this is a show about a weed dealer in New York, and it's just kind of about all the people that he runs into in his day-to-day work. And we started watching it when it was a web series on Vimeo, and it's like super interesting. And it's on HBO now, and the HBO seasons have been a lot more focused on him, on like he doesn't have a name, his name's like The Guy, and it's a lot more about him and his personal life, which I like. But I also kind of liked just the episodic, here's this person I met. So yeah, like obviously the production value is a lot higher on HBO, and they can do longer and more intricate storylines. But I'm not sure if I like learning more about him, because I liked kind of him being just a mystery, like he didn't have a name. And I think in the last episode they said his name, but it was just like the actor's name, so I don't know. But I like that show. Those are the main things that we've been watching. In terms of movies, I watched a lot of movies in theaters, but I didn't super love a lot of them. But one thing that I did really love was The Death of Stalin, which is by Armando Iannucci. I think that's how you say his name. He's Scottish, but he has like a very Italian name. And I read the comic last month, I think. And this was like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. You wouldn't think a movie about the death of Stalin would be funny, but it was so funny. I was laughing really loud, and just having a great time. He did In the Loop, which is probably my favorite political comedy, and I don't like political comedies. I think I just liked it because it was super, super dark humor. So that was definitely my favorite movie that I watched this month. I also watched Colossal, which came out last year, and I didn't get a chance to see it. And I kind of liked that, but it was like going in a lot of directions. It's basically about this like creature that appears in Korea, and it's kind of destroying the city, and then Anne Hathaway is this character who struggles with like alcohol abuse, and she discovers that she has a connection to this monster. And yeah, I feel like they went in a direction and they could have been a little more subtle about it, I guess. But it was like such a unique idea, so I'm really glad I watched it and that it got made. The other new movies I watched were Thoroughbreds and Isle of Dogs. And I liked Isle of Dogs, but I feel kind of conflicted about just him making a movie about Japan and not having any of the Japanese people speak. I mean, they speak in Japanese, but it's like in America. I don't know. I have conflicted feelings about that one, but it's still like a great movie because it's Wes Anderson, so all of his movies are great. But yeah. And then I also watched Thoroughbreds, which I was really excited about because the trailer is amazing. Like one of the best trailers I've ever seen. And I didn't really like that one very much. It just, I feel like it was trying to be very stylish, but it could have gone a lot deeper into their characters. That's about this, like, these two girls, and they're, like, rich, they live in Connecticut, and one of them they want to, like, murder one of the girls' stepdads. Yeah, it could have gone in a different direction. I feel like that's what I'm saying about all of these. And then I also watched Mute, which was on Netflix. And I think it's David Bowie's son that made it. I forgot what his name is, though. And it's Alexander Skarsgård and Paul Rust. Two people I would never imagine acting together. And Paul Rust is kind of like a villainous character. It's about this, like, Alexander Skarsgård, who's Amish, but it's like in a sci-fi Blade Runner looking future world, and he has an accident when he's younger and basically loses the ability to speak, but he would have been able to speak if his parents would have let him have surgery, but Amish people don't believe in technology. And then it's kind of like, then it becomes like a detective story, and he's trying to figure out what happened to his girlfriend. I thought it was okay. I feel like I just wasn't in a good mood when I watched it, and it made me feel really weird. I really liked Paul Rust's character. I don't think you were supposed to like him, but I thought he was like such a sweet dad, and I think he might have been bisexual, but that whole thing was very confusing. I feel like not a lot of people are going to watch this because it's going to get like buried in Netflix, but I'm always down for new, unique sci-fi movies. I feel like we just get a lot of remakes and Marvel and Star Trek and Star Wars, and I like those stuff, but it's fun to get new, unique stories. Alright, so those are the movies I watched and the TV shows. What else do I have to talk about? Oh wait, another movie I watched, like the very end of March, was Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I actually watched it 2 times. Like, I watched it, and then 2 days later I watched it again. It was a very fun movie. I didn't watch it in theaters because it looked kind of dumb, but it was really fun. I had a great time watching it. Jumanji was just like great fun, and it reminded me of The Mummy, which was like one of my favorite like feel-good movies to watch. So definitely recommend that one if you just want to have a good time. And then my last favorite is an album, and that's Doja Cat's album Amala, which came out at the very end of March 30th, on my birthday. And it's probably more of an April favorite because it came out so late, but it's been great, and I've been very much enjoying it. It's all I've been listening to lately. So yeah, my camera battery's about to die, but I didn't really play any video games this month, so I can't really talk about that. Mostly been reading, watching movies, watching TV. Let me know if you watched any of those things. I'm just gonna say watch because that's all it was, or if you've listened to Doja Cat's album. And I'll see y'all soon with another video. Bye!